$1 billion skyline rises from what was once a sleepy shoreline. Welcome to the true Miami of China, where the world's largest duty-free mall and artificial islands are not just about luxury. They are Beijing's boldest economic gamble. By 2025, this tropical playground becomes a tax haven fortress designed to recapture billions lost to Paris and Milan. But why is China betting its future on an island? And who really benefits from this golden cage? Construction on Phoenix Island began in 2007. Over the next 11 years, dredgers and cranes sculpted artificial land from the shallow waters of Sanya Bay, raising a new skyline where fishing boats once drifted. The final price tag landed between 3 and 5 billion yuan, about $464 million to $775 million. Luxury apartments here command between 50,000 and 100,000 yuan per square meter, rivaling the most expensive neighborhoods in Beijing or Shanghai. Engineers from MID Architects designed 5 gleaming towers, each wrapped in 40,000 square meters of LED panels that light up the night sky. The island stretches out with a 200-meter 7-star hotel, 5-star resorts, a yacht marina, and a cruise terminal. At peak, the marina can berth up to 300 super yachts. The entire project sits just 20 minutes from Hainan's International Airport, making it a direct landing pad for China's wealthiest travelers. Phoenix Island isn't just a place to stay, it's a spectacle. Every evening, the towers glow with shifting patterns visible across the bay. The sheer scale is hard to grasp. The artificial landmass, the kilometers of LED lighting, the billions invested. This is not the slow growth of a coastal town. It's a deliberate act of engineering, a statement built into the sea. The numbers alone broadcast ambition on a global scale. At sunset, Sanya's skyline transforms into a living billboard for China's new wealth. Towers on Phoenix Island flicker with a nightly light show, their LED skins programmed to ripple in waves of color, spell out slogans, or even display digital fireworks. Each evening at 8 p.m., the entire bay glows. Hotel facades, yacht marinas, and bridges pulse in sync, drawing crowds along the waterfront. The spectacle is not just for tourists. It is a carefully orchestrated campaign, using architecture and illumination to brand Sanya as a destination of glamour and affluence. The LED panels, covering more than 40,000 square meters, can shift from ocean blues to gold, or flash high-end fashion logos during shopping festivals. On weekends and holidays, the programming ramps up with synchronized music and bursts of light that mirror the pace of Miami's South Beach or the flash of Dubai's marina. This is urban marketing at full volume. The skyline itself becomes an invitation. Come shop, come party, come belong. High-rises double as digital canvases, cycling through scenes that blend tropical fantasy with luxury retail. Yacht owners anchor offshore just for the view, while shoppers spill from malls to the promenade, drawn by the spectacle. The city's identity is rewritten every night, not by the quiet of palm trees, but by the electric promise of consumption. Sanya's illuminated skyline does not just compete with Miami. It outshines it, turning the city into a glowing magnet for China's new class of spenders. Standing at the heart of Haitang Bay, the China Duty-Free Mall dwarfs any other retail complex on the planet. Its footprint covers 72,000 square meters, nearly the size of 10 soccer fields side by side. The building rises in sweeping arcs of glass and steel, ringed by palm trees and luxury drop-offs, designed to funnel crowds directly from airport arrivals into the heart of high-end commerce. Inside, the air hums with the sound of rolling suitcases and the click of heels on polished marble. Every corridor branches into another world of luxury. Gucci, Cartier, Prada, Rolex, and La Mer all claim palatial storefronts, and some brands operate flagship boutiques larger than their locations in Paris or Hong Kong. The scale is immediate. On a typical weekend, tens of thousands of shoppers fill the halls, drawn by the promise of tax-free prices on everything from Swiss watches to Korean skincare. The mall's digital displays flash real-time sales numbers and countdowns to the next shopping festival, fueling a sense of urgency and spectacle. In 2020 alone, the CDF complex recorded $4.3 billion in sales, doubling its previous year's total, even as global travel collapsed. That single year saw more luxury goods sold here than in entire countries. The architecture is built for volume. Atriums soar 3 stories high, with escalators crisscrossing between duty-free showrooms and pop-up events. Interactive displays and themed installations turn shopping into a sensory experience, blending retail with entertainment. Rows of personal shoppers in tailored uniforms guide customers through perfume samplings and watch fittings, while digital kiosks track quota balances and recommend flash deals. Behind the scenes, a vast logistics network keeps shelves stocked and checkout lines moving. Bonded warehouses feed a steady stream of inventory, replenishing best sellers in real time. The mall's operational scale rivals an airport, with security teams, customs officers, and tech support crews all working around the clock. China Tourism Group Duty Free, the mall's parent company, runs the entire operation with military precision, ensuring that the mall never sleeps. The world's largest duty-free complex is not just a retail destination. It is a magnet for consumer ambition, engineered to capture the spending power of China's rising middle and upper classes. The sheer size of the operation, the velocity of sales, and the density of luxury brands all combine to create an environment where shopping feels like an event in itself. Each square meter is monetized, every display calibrated to maximize both spectacle and sales. The CDF Mall does not just serve shoppers, it overwhelms them, making the scale of China's consumer economy impossible to ignore. Inside the China Duty Free Mall, the real action is not just at the checkout counters. It is in the flurry of messages, QR codes, and digital payments that turn ordinary shoppers into high-volume proxy buyers, Daigou. These are the middlemen and women who have made Sanya the epicenter of a new kind of luxury arbitrage. Their phones light up with WeChat orders from clients scattered across Beijing, Chengdu, and Guangzhou, each requesting the latest Gucci bag or a limited edition Rolex. Inventory lists and flash deals circulate through encrypted chat groups, and payment arrives as a cascade of WeChat red packets, hundreds of tiny transfers designed to slip under the radar of bank compliance teams. A typical Daigou operator lands in Sanya with a list as long as their arm. They are not here to sunbathe. Instead, they move with military efficiency, mapping out the mall's boutiques and calculating how to maximize their quota. Since July 2020, the government has allowed each traveler to spend up to 100,000 yuan duty-free per year, about $15,000. But that is just the starting point. Daigou networks recruit friends, students, or even elderly relatives to fly in on discount tickets, each one lending their personal ID to unlock another quota. By pooling 10 travelers, a single operator can move 1 million yuan of luxury goods in a weekend. Every purchase is tracked by facial recognition and ID cards, but the system is designed for speed, not scrutiny. Operators load shopping baskets with cosmetics, watches, and jewelry. 6,400 yuan is the average spend per visitor, but Daigou aim much higher. At the self-checkout kiosks, they scan items, split receipts, and juggle multiple IDs to avoid triggering quota limits. Some use guesthouse lockers or luxury hotel storage to stage goods for pickup, while others pack everything into hard-shell suitcases, ready for the next flight north. The logistics are as sophisticated as any supply chain. Once the goods leave the mall, Daigou have two main options: hand carry them back to the mainland, or ship them through express couriers like SF Express, often labeling parcels as gifts or undervaluing them to avoid customs scrutiny. The risk is real. Customs seizures have soared, with 26,500 cases and over 2 billion yuan in goods confiscated in 2024 alone. Penalties range from ID bans to steep fines, but the profits keep the networks running. A high-volume operator can clear 50,000 yuan a month in profit, even after splitting with proxies and factoring in the occasional loss. At the other end of the chain, clients receive their luxury goods within days, often at prices far below what they would pay in Hong Kong or Tokyo. The Daigou model does not just multiply the impact of the government's quota policy. It turns Sanya into a launchpad for a shadow economy of luxury consumption. The mall's architecture may impress, but it is the invisible web of digital payments, proxy travelers, and logistical ingenuity that powers Hainan's duty-free boom. On paper, Hainan is still part of China, but starting December 2025, the island will run under a legal and economic regime that splits it from the mainland. The entire coastline becomes the first line of customs, a perimeter where goods, capital, and people can flow in almost freely. Everything arriving by sea or air enters a zone with zero tariffs on thousands of imported items, from Swiss watches to Italian yachts. Once inside, companies and investors face a corporate tax rate of just 15%, far below the 25% standard on the mainland. For high-end talent and foreign professionals, personal income tax is capped at 15%, a clear lure for global businesses and luxury brands. The real innovation is the second line. This is the invisible border between Hainan and the rest of China. Goods can move around the island with no restrictions, but the moment they cross to the mainland, regular duties and taxes snap back into place. This firewall locks capital and luxury spending inside Hainan, creating a captive market. For companies, it means they can import, process, and resell goods within the island at global prices, so long as those goods do not leak back to the mainland untaxed. The system is designed for scale. By the end of 2025, market projections put Hainan's annual duty-free and luxury trade at $46.5 billion, a tenfold jump from just a few years ago. The architecture of the free trade port is both legal and physical. Bonded warehouses line the port, customs checkpoints scan every shipment, and digital platforms track each transaction. The entire island operates as a single customs zone, with streamlined approvals and a negative list for foreign investment that is shorter than anywhere else in China. For Beijing, this is more than a tourism experiment. It is a test of whether a controlled slice of capitalism can draw in global capital while keeping it under the watchful eye of the state. The countdown to December 2025 is not just about new malls or resorts. It is about flipping the switch on a legal machine that turns Hainan into Asia's next free trade fortress. Atlantis Sanya rises out of Haitang Bay like a monument to ambition. The numbers alone are staggering. $1.6 billion in investment, more than twice the cost of Phoenix Island, poured into a single resort. Its silhouette, arched and gleaming, spans 540,000 square meters, dwarfing most hotels in Asia. The centerpiece is the underwater suite, a glass-walled cocoon submerged in a private lagoon, where guests wake to schools of fish drifting past their windows. The price tag is $50,000 per night. Bookings open months in advance, and demand rarely falters, even without a single Western tourist in the lobby. Beyond the headline suite, Atlantis offers 1,314 rooms, a year-round water park, an aquarium housing 86,000 marine animals, and a celebrity chef restaurant lineup that rivals Macau or Singapore. Families arrive for the slides and dolphin shows, while high rollers settle into the Royal Club floors, where butlers pour Krug and Hermes and luxury amenities line the bathrooms. The resort's own shopping arcade connects directly to the duty-free mall, creating a seamless loop of leisure and luxury retail. Every detail is engineered to keep guests and their spending on the island. Atlantis employs nearly 5,000 staff, many recruited from five-star hotels across China, trained to anticipate every whim. Room service menus run to 20 pages. The spa uses imported Swiss creams, and the golf carts are electric, gliding guests from the water park to the helipad. The confidence behind these numbers is unmistakable. Atlantis was not built for overseas arrivals or fleeting Instagram fame. It is calibrated for the wave of domestic wealth unleashed by policy changes, families, and entrepreneurs who, locked out of Paris or Milan, now look to Hainan for their taste of the high life. The $1.6 billion spent here is a bet that China's appetite for luxury is not just resilient, it is insatiable. In 2024, numbers at the China Duty-Free Group Haitang Bay complex took a sharp turn. For the first time since the island's boom began, China Duty-Free Group reported a 16.4% drop in total revenue, with net profits sliding by more than a third. The shopping halls that once pulsed with record sales grew quieter, especially on weekdays. Analysts pointed to a few causes: a cooling Chinese economy, new restrictions on Daigou proxy buyers, and the sheer volume of new malls and hotels competing for the same luxury yuan. China Duty-Free's share of total group revenue fell from 70% to just over 51%, a sign that even the world's largest duty-free hub is not immune to changing tides. On the streets around Haitang Bay, the pressure was felt in other ways. Small business owners near the mall described a different kind of boom, one that drove up rents faster than foot traffic. Reports from Sanya's commercial districts told of landlords doubling or even tripling lease prices as new developments sprang up, pricing out noodle stalls and corner shops that had survived for decades. While official figures on rent inflation remained scarce, hotel occupancy rates near the mall soared by 150% after the 2025 duty-free expansion, a clear signal that demand for space, any space, had reached a fever pitch. For many local merchants, the luxury bubble felt more like a moving wall. Some adapted, shifting to tourist-friendly menus or renting out storage to Daigou couriers. Others simply gave up, watching as their old neighborhoods transformed into zones of high-end retail and branded pop-ups. Economists warn that the island's glittering facade hides growing strains. When the crowds thin or the next policy tweak comes, the fallout will land hardest on those with the least leverage. The promise of Hainan's free trade utopia now comes with a question: how much pressure can the real economy absorb before the cracks show? Today, Sanya isn't just a getaway. It's a test case for whether a nation can engineer consumer paradise and an economic fortress in the same breath. As Hainan's free trade port status goes live in 2025, global luxury flows redraw their routes. What happens here won't stay here. It could reshape how the world spends and where power pools next. What's your take on this transformation?